Hello everyone, I'm Mai Burns from the Henry Stewart Events. Delighted to welcome you to today's webinar, Insights from Adobe MAX 2024 and Managing Core Assets in Your DAM, which is kindly sponsored by CI HUB. During the session, please do send through your questions at any point using the questions box, which you can open by clicking on the question mark at the top of your GoToWebinar menu. Also a reminder that a recording of this session will be sent to you tomorrow so that you can view it again at your own pace. It's now my great pleasure to pass you over to Gerd Glaser, Chief Sales Officer at CI HUB. Thank you, and over to you.
Thank you, Mai, and welcome to all of you. I hope you had a great day, or you will have a great day wherever you're based. My name is Gerd. I'm here with my colleagues Phil and Stephane. So Phil is based in Britain and Stephane is based in Sydney, Australia. So thank you, Stephane, for staying awake so late and join us during that session. Just to give you a short intro about CI HUB. Company was founded in 2020. It's based in Germany. The main office is here in Berlin, is Potsdam, which is near Berlin. We have offices in Frankfurt and in Gießen. So our team consists of guys coming out of the marketing software, agency management, consulting, and the DAM implementation. And our software developers provide really optimized code for performance and scalability. They are mainly based in Gießen here in Germany. Our mission is to seamlessly integrate platform content into the most used applications, empowering business at scale and ensuring the smooth flow of data. We currently help around about 2,500 customers worldwide increase engagement with users in their preferred application, and that leads to more productive, engaging, and relevant experience with more than 65 out-of-the-box connected platforms. Platforms could be any DAM, PIM, cloud storage, or work management systems, which are mainly used in the marketing stacks. So our products consists of, or our product family consists of 3 products. This is the CI HUB Connector Professional. This is really the world's leading connector for professionals in the creative segment. Then we have the CI HUB Connector Corporate, which is the first in-app brand portal for streamlined brand management. And the third part is the CI HUB Drive. This is really the best way to connect your organization to data and assets and allows the whole content of the connected system to show up in your Mac OS Finder or in your Windows Explorer. As I said, we're around about 25 applications natively integrated. That could be all Adobe Creative Cloud applications, including Adobe Express, all the business applications for Microsoft Office, and UX UI design with Figma and Sketch, and also macOS and Windows, both. For cloud applications, we're also, as I said, Adobe Express, but also the cloud applications from Microsoft Office, Google Workspace, and Figma. It also runs natively in the Figma collaboration tools. We're running on platforms natively in WordPress, Adobe Experience Manager, Salesforce, currently building Canva, and we have planned to run our applications within HubSpot. We're connected to around about 70 of the most used DAM in cloud storage systems. A few of them you can see here. A whole overview of all the connected systems are on our webpage at cihub.com. And you can see our ratings on every platform. We're really highly rated, mostly 4.5 to 5 stars. ratings. So our products are really highly valued by our customers and highly rated. We also do this via our knowledge transfer, mainly done by my colleague Natalia, who is our onboarding partner. So she ensures that our customers will have really good success with our products. That's all for me for the introduction, and I would like to hand over to Phil in a second. So Phil, you should be able to control the screen.
Yep, the message came up, so hopefully that's all working. Thank you, Gerd. I'm Phil, I'm partner manager at CI Hub. If you've got any questions as this session progresses, please do write them into the Q&A panel inside the webinar software, and we can spend some time towards the end of the session answering your questions. So I'm just going to cover a few areas that Adobe announced at Adobe MAX a couple of weeks ago in Miami. And as the presentations were sort of going on for those days, we were talking to the attendees, who were mostly made up of marketers, graphic designers, DAM administrators, and IT managers, to get their initial thoughts about what was announced. And we also gave out hundreds of pairs of flip-flops during the event, which went down extremely well. Unfortunately, there were none left, so they all disappeared at that event. Right, so the first thing that was shown to us was that there's some new functionality coming in Adobe Illustrator, which allows us to take 2D illustrations and apply them to 3D objects directly within Illustrator. So here we've got these sort of slices of pie or cake or similar that have been the sort of an illustration in Illustrator that's then been applied to these caps as a 3D model. And this is then allowing us to store non-destructively editable files directly in your DAM. So essentially storing channel-specific formats in the DAM, which can then be reused, reapplied for any type of reuse that you need. They also showed us this project Remix, which is allowing artificially intelligent adaptations for different formats. So this can save an enormous amount of time in repetitive tasks. So pulling together these different sized formatted ads based on similar designs, similar content, and then based on which ones have been generated, you can then choose which ones should get stored in your DAM for later reuse. The project turntable was pretty cool. This showed how you can take 2D vector images and create 3D vectors out of them. So this allows you to generate something in 2 dimensions and then using the artificial intelligence create 3D renders out of it for reuse, and again can be stored into your DAM. They also showed this generative expand function within InDesign. So this is directly within InDesign. You haven't got to go out to Photoshop or anywhere else to use it. That if we've got an image that has been placed into a frame in our InDesign document, but it doesn't fit and we want to expand it to fit, the generative expand tool will expand this image to fit the frame that's been selected based on the AI tools that Adobe are making available. And that can then be added back into your DAM as a new asset connected to your InDesign document already placed and make further use of it somewhere else. In Firefly, it will become possible to take photos and automatically generate videos out of them. Unfortunately, we haven't got, if this video will play. Yeah, it does play. So that's then generated automatically out of an image that's been initially generated out of Firefly to create a video as well. And then once you've created all these assets, they're all being done directly within the Adobe desktop apps. But the CI Hub connector is then giving you the options to take those generated assets or a subset of them and upload them directly into your DAM using the CI Hub connector. So those of you that are familiar using it already, you get the panel inside InDesign or Photoshop, whichever app you're working with at the time, and then add in your creative assets, any generated imagery or video that's gone alongside that, and upload that directly into whichever DAM you're using. So we can then choose whether we take the source files, if we want to create renditions of them, adaptations of them, we can just upload the bits that we want into the DAM, leaving anything else behind, but without having to go into your DAM directly. You can do it all directly within the desktop apps using the CI Hub connector. There's also some additional functionality coming to Adobe Express, and Adobe are going to soon be launching an initial campaign in the UK before it spreads to the rest of the world. And this is allowing you to take InDesign documents, export them for Adobe Express, and then within the Adobe Express application, based on those templates, different components within it can be locked or unlocked. So users have the permissions based on what you've set up for them to say, you can replace the content in this frame, you can't change the overall design, you've got this flexibility, but no flexibility in this area, to make it as easy as possible to create new documents without needing either full InDesign or, more importantly, the skills to use InDesign can all be done directly within Adobe Express. And this can also include when we're uploading assets into your DAM via the CI Hub connector, we can also take across automatic translations if that's being used as well. We can create variations of any of the content that's being created. So as something's being uploaded from Adobe Express, export that as a PDF or whatever else you need. And as we're placing assets directly from your DAM, same CI Hub functionality is available to place renditions. If you want a JPEG of a certain size or a PNG to be placed, all those options are available to you. So unless anyone has any specific questions on that functionality, I can see one has just popped in from Caitlin, so I'll answer that now, who's asking, do you need a full Creative Cloud license for Adobe Express or a single app? So Adobe licensed that as a separate app, as do we. So if you want the CI Hub connector for Adobe Express, you don't need a full Creative Cloud license. And with that, I'll hand over to Steph to look at the next part of our presentation.
Thank you, Phil. That was great. I think it's great to have the ability to upload all this AI-generated content back into the DAM so easily with the plugin. I think that's a great feature. So I'm Stephane Klein. I'm in Sydney, Australia, as Gerd mentioned. I joined CI Hub a year ago as a senior product manager, specifically working on a new product line called CI Hub Drive, which we launched also at Adobe MAX. And yeah, I'm gonna talk today about managing core assets in your DAM. And for that topic, I wanted to sort of like take a step back and reflect a little bit on how current DAMs, and especially in a complete cloud native environment today. We have those DAM systems that are totally disconnected, essentially, completely in the cloud. So that actually creates new use cases, which sometimes could actually create issues. So my question today is to, obviously, let's see if this, oops, sorry, it switches too fast. Let's go back. Sorry about that. All right. So, okay. So basically, my question today is: we've all heard this motto about single source of truth. I mean, this is what every DAM vendor is actually selling. And my question today is really to reflect upon the reality of the single source of truth in the context of a cloud hosted DAM system. And really, the question is asking ourselves whether we're really achieving the single source of truth, or if we are not actually creating more chaos in the way we are actually using our DAMs. And for this, I wanted to just touch on two very simple use cases and detail exactly what happens and how potentially things could get very messy, and how CI Hub is actually helping in those different touch points. So use case number one, super basic. Someone's need access to a file for whatever job he has to do. So he goes online on the company DAM, and obviously the DAM is super optimized. It's got a very nice feature to actually access those assets the guy is looking for. And obviously what he's going to do is download the content to his desktop and start working on that content. So in that case, as soon as we've downloaded the content, we've actually created a duplicate of the asset, and it's actually no longer in the DAM, it's on my desktop. And I've also actually lost the connection essentially to understand where this asset originally came from. So this is a lot of potential for errors, and also you never know whether the person later will actually take the time to re-upload the content once its job is done. So it's always a complete unknown because we have this disconnect. Now, on the use case number two, it's essentially the same, but slightly more complicated. We have this scenario where someone needs to place an asset in, let's say, in design or in PowerPoint. So again, we go on the DAM, we download the content, and we place the content in our application, like in design. And again, we've created a duplicate, and we've completely lost track of where the asset came from. So really the question today is whether these different use cases are making the world better because we have a DAM which is supposedly the single source of truth, or it's actually creating more chaos because in reality what we have been doing by just in those two simple use cases, we've actually created tons of duplications of content, and we've completely lost track of where the content came from. So essentially, completely losing the purpose of this, the initial vision of the single source of truth. So now I want to talk about what if we never actually broke the link and we could totally avoid duplication. And this is really from CI Hub's inception. This is the whole idea, the whole concept behind all the solutions, the connectivity solution that CI Hub provides. So basically bridging that gap, being the glue between the DAM and the different use cases. So for example, the first example obviously that comes to mind, because I mean chronologically obviously this is the first product that CI Hub released, the connector professional. So the connector professional, as you see here in this example in InDesign, and a lot of you probably actually know the software. So the connector professional is a very easy way to connect to your DAM, look at the asset, search the asset with all the tools provided by the DAM, and then once the selection is done, placing the asset allows to avoid duplicating the asset and keeping track of the link, which is completely different than the second use case I was showing you, which totally created chaos by duplicating the asset. And I think one of the greatest feature in the connector professional is the link panel, which is obviously one of the great feature of CI Hub, essentially because it keeps track of each placement done in InDesign or PowerPoint or any other application that allows to place assets, and essentially creates the possibility to have a complete life cycle of a document, because later on down the road, few months after, we'll be able to see which asset came from which DAM and potentially see if it's been updated or if it's actually not usable anymore because of license and so on. So it's very important to keep those links. It's actually crucial to make it possible to have to make the DAM the single source of truth. So now what I want to talk about is switching to the CI Hub Drive product, which is a little bit my baby at CI Hub. And the core technology which we have based this product on is called the file provider. In my opinion, this is really like a revolution in storage technology, because it's essentially the realization of a cloud-based file system and the ability to have assets that are only local with their metadata. So essentially just a thumbnail, some metadata information, and nothing else. So essentially we've got it's the same user it's the basis for the user, the product like Google Drive or Dropbox or Box, and essentially it allows to load content from a DAM without downloading the IRS document, and only downloading the IRS document when it's necessary. And this is actually represented by this thumbnail I'm showing here, which has this little cloud, which most of you are probably already familiar with. So the cloud here, in this case, represents the fact that the asset is not currently downloaded and is only remote and is only downloaded when I need it. And then if we zoom into the actual Finder window that I was taking this little screenshot on, this is now basically my full Finder window with several mounted DAMs, which you see here on the side. And this is now a view into one of the folder within the DAM. So it might seem completely obvious and simple, but it is actually not, because remember use case number one I was showing earlier, where people have to basically go online and download the content to their desktop. In this case here, I've got a direct access to the content in the DAM as it is right now live, and I'm able to actually work on that content without downloading it. Sort of, it will still download the content, but still any change I'm making in those assets will be synchronized with the DAM in a non-destructive way, because it's actually going to increment revision of those assets. But But this completely changes the paradigm in accessing the content of a DAM, because we have the ability to avoid duplication with this, and also to maintain the link with the source of the asset, so with essentially where the asset came from. So other functionalities that we've actually implemented with the drive is, as you guys are probably aware, not all DAMs on the market have a folder-like experience. So not all those DAMs can be easily translated into a hierarchy of folders and subfolders. Lot of them, like Binder in the example I'm showing here, are based on a global pool of assets, and which you can then narrow down the selection using filters and facets. And we've actually been able to create the same user experience as using filters and facets within the Finder. So therefore, actually allowing to navigate through the assets of a Binder DAM, and many of them are actually similar, by using filters and facets, which is unique. I mean, nobody else on the market is able to do that. Another aspect which I think is extremely cool is the ability to integrate the DAM search engine inside the Finder. So we've created like smart folders under this search main root folder, and any folder created below that folder will be used as a search folder with its name as the search term. So essentially here I've got a folder called green, and green will be used as a search term, and the asset I'm seeing here are the result of the search green in my DAM. And this actually also then allows to have dynamic smart folders that can be easily updated with the new content once it's updated. Another so essentially what we're really achieving with both the CI Hub Connector Professional and CI Hub Drive is being the glue essentially between the DAMs, your DAM in the cloud, and its use on the desktop or in any of the apps. And really what we want to explain to you today is that without CI Hub, essentially the vision of a single source of truth is never really achieved. But with using our tools together with your DAM in the cloud, we really achieve this ability to provide, to become a single source of truth and properly manage your core assets in the DAM. Is it moving? I think I lost the control. Oh, no, that's okay. So yeah, as a conclusion to my little presentation here, I wanted to say, what is a core asset? At the end of the day, it's an asset. I mean, obviously some are more important than others, but at the end of the day, they're all assets. And again, by using the CI Hub's tool, we really empowers the users to have easy access to the content. We have direct integration with your app and the desktop. We eliminate duplication, which I'm sure everybody can relate to this problem. Is duplication is basically rampant everywhere. I mean, in today's environment, and the more we can actually try to avoid it, the better. So obviously, Drive and the Connector Professional are a great tool for that. And obviously, real-time synchronization and versioning are really great to really make sure that any updates on the desktop side gets pushed to the DAM. Metadata and keyword, I mean, this is obviously very, very, very important, because it's clearly allowing to this is something I didn't mention, but even the drive on the desktop is able to synchronize metadata and make that searchable, as well as the connector professional. And also, obviously, very key point is maintaining the link to the DAM, and also making the document lifecycle management possible, because by maintaining those links, we then can actually ensure that every component of a document is tracked, and we are able to understand where assets are coming from. So now we have just a few examples of, I think really the point here is to show how identical the UI is between all the different solutions that we integrate the connector into. So this is some view of the connector. So maybe here in Photoshop, then we have it in InDesign. Again, exactly the same connector. So this is actually great to ensure that users have the exact same experience using the product, using CI HUB product, within any of the applications. So obviously here we are still in Creative Cloud, Premiere Pro. We obviously also have all the Office solution as well. So it could be PowerPoint, it could be Word. And again, same exact user experience across all those solutions. And we even have, so this is for Word, we even have all the mailing tool. I mean, even within email clients, we have the ability to integrate the connector already. So now we have a little video. I'm not sure if Gerd, if you want to comment on that one. So this is a video that, yeah.
I can give you a short wrap up to the video. So this is just a simple example of what you can do within PowerPoint. So you can easily make your DAM a slide repository. So you can just easily via drag and drop or via right click add single slides or even chapters to your existing presentation. Every asset that has been placed in a PowerPoint presentation stays connected to the DAM. So whenever there has been an update, a new version, you can easily relink the assets, and so always stay brand compliant and always ensure to use the latest version in the PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Gerd. So yeah, no, just a quick also wrap up on the Drive product. Again, this is a desktop solution, so we call it the DAM on desktop. The DAM on desktop, so the ability to connect your DAM directly to the desktop. Super easy access, direct integration with Finder and Explorer. This is also available on Windows. Eliminate duplication, obviously key points, real-time sync, metadata and keywords on desktop, OS indexing. So we've got the ability to use the OS tools thanks to the metadata we are synchronizing, and use the spotlight essentially on Mac to search for assets. And key aspect, maintain the link to the DAM, and also have the document life cycle. Already, is it switching now?
Do you want me to switch it?
Yeah, no, it's not moving when I. Yeah, so just a little bit still on the CI HUB Drive. Again, it's got we're on the desktop, so we're connecting DAMs on the desktop, and all the connection, all the DAM that Gerd mentioned at the start are also available on the DAM. So we're in the process essentially of integrating them all. We already have a good portion of them already done, but essentially all those connections that we have are going to be integrated within Drive in the coming months. And then, as I mentioned earlier as well, this is also available on the PC for Explorer for Windows. So we have
With
a little.
CI, you can access the assets in your DAM, PIM, Drive, and more directly from your desktop. Let's take a look at its key features. Getting connected. Using CI Hub Drive, you can connect to multiple systems from your desktop. Simply search for your system within the CI Hub interface and connect to it in seconds. Your DAMs will then be virtually mounted to the Mac OS Finder or Windows Explorer. Just like that, you can access all the folders and files in your connected system. To help you quickly find what you need, CI Hub Drive generates previews of each file on demand. Files and folders. When it comes to managing your files, CI Hub Drive lets you see if an asset has been approved or rejected for use in the original data source. Here we see a red dot beside one asset which is rejected, letting us know not to use it. In the same way, a green dot lets us know that this asset is approved for use. You can also see which files are read-only from the lock symbol, so you can't overwrite that file. Online and offline. Need to edit some files locally? You can do this in a single click. This also works for multiple files at once. You can also make entire folders locally available by selecting the one you want, right-clicking and selecting Download Now. Using multiple threading, you can download up to 4 files simultaneously. Removing a local download is just as easy. Right-click on your locally available folder and choose Remove Download. Managing assets. You can upload files from your desktop directly to a folder within your DAM. Select the assets you want, drag them into your folder, and they will be uploaded to the DAM. You can also duplicate files in your DAM in seconds. Holding the Option key, you can click and drag on an asset to quickly make a duplicate. Moving assets. Sometimes you'll need to move files from one DAM or Drive system to another. Here, we are moving files from Box to Binder. To do this, just open both systems in different windows, select your assets, and then drag and drop from one to the other. There's no need to download the files locally, saving you time and performance. Searching for assets. Finding the right assets in your DAM can be a challenge. With the CI Hub Drive search function, you can create a folder with your search term as the name. This will trigger the search within your connected system. The folder will fill with all the assets, including the title of the folder, so you can find exactly what you need. This is extra useful for frequently used searches, like when you need to find a specific Excel folder that's hiding deep within your DAM. CI Hub Drive also automatically indexes every asset connected to it. That means every tag connected to an asset is searchable. The search function even works on the Spotlight Quick Search and OS search functions. Get CI Hub Drive today.
I think that's a great example, Stephane, that shows some of the capabilities. Yeah.
That was pretty cool. Yeah, I've never seen that video. Actually, it's pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah. So, do you want to talk about the latest product the CI Hub Connector Corporate? Or...
Well, yeah, no, I'd rather have you do it if you can.
Okay, I will do it. Yeah, so there's another product. This is the latest product we just developed. This is the CI Hub Connector Corporate. As you can see on the right-hand side, it has a really clean interface. It's completely new designed, and it's built for those who are really brand consumers. So there is no flickery thing going on. It's just the 3 buttons principle for any brand customer. It's search an asset, place an asset, and share the content. But we have added some additional stuff in it. So it's what we call the in-app brand portal. And that really works with every DAM. So there's no additional stuff needed, no additional integrations needed. It's just how you tag your assets in your existing DAM, and you will make them available in a kind of an in-app brand portal. So what you can see here, that works with logos, with color schemes, with iconography, or with illustrations, or even with images. That can also be an area where you say, I need my core assets based on a special campaign. So that could all be easily managed within your DAM just using tags. And the brand consumers at the end have all the necessary assets that are related to a campaign, all the necessary color schemes or logos or icons, whatever is necessary for a campaign, and have them combined and drag and droppable, usable within applications. So that's really a huge thing. On the other hand, it connects, again, like the other products, to multiple systems. But the cool thing here is every search that is triggered by the CI Hub connector searches in all the connected systems. So if you search for special assets, you get a result in the area, which you can see down below. If it comes from a Dropbox, from a Google account, or if it comes from a DAM, whatever is connected, it will be displayed in the result area, even if it comes from various systems. Another thing we've created is the inspiration board. That means we connect to various artificial intelligence or Gen AI systems that could be, on one hand, images, what you can see here, but we can also connect to text systems like ChatGPT. So this is something we have built, and to be more flexible the way you choose your content. What we've also done, there is a short video what we have provided to our customers, and they like it very much. I'll come to that in a second. What for the CI Hub Connector Corporate is really, really important is that we provide the content to corporate users. That could be sales, HR, and admin, or support. It's dedicated to that user group, and it's really set up within any DAM, whatever has to be provided. If it comes to brand-related materials for external dealers, partners, or retailers, you can have tailored information, tailored assets, collections, and so on, really depending on the needs of your audience. And of course, when it comes to the creative agencies, they have to deal with multiple brands, but that's also doable within any DAM just by using the tags, and that displays very well, and it gives you all the information you need, and just the information for the project you're currently on. You can easily switch between all these contents. A short video of what we can do is, for example, let's say you're in PowerPoint and you're a PowerPoint user and you have to create or work on an image. Sorry, that's not what I expected. It should run in a second. So what we've created is you can select an image, start Adobe Express automatically, use the capabilities of Firefly, type a prompt, and generate new images. So we're using the capabilities of Adobe Express and Adobe Firefly to generate or manipulate assets within PowerPoint. I think that's really a cool thing to have that implemented within a solution like PowerPoint. And as long as you have a registration for Adobe Express, you can use it at any time. There are no restrictions regarding the licensing or whatever. As long as you are registered for Adobe Express, you can use those kind of features, for example, in PowerPoint. So that's most what we got, I would say, at the moment. So just to sum it up, 3 products that really fit into your marketing stack, which means your marketing stack is in general built in a horizontal integration. That means you have your DAM, your cloud storage, your PIN, which feeds then the e-commerce or websites or even email campaigns. What we're focusing on, what you can see here, is the vertical integration. That means we cover, for example, with the CI Hub Connector Professional, all the creative area and all the touch points that are coming up for the various channels. With the CI Hub Connector Corporate, that focuses really on the brand consumers in an enterprise department. And when it comes to the CI Hub Drive, focusing on all those team members that are really working heavily within Microsoft Explorer or in the macOS Finder, maybe searching for some documents, quickly open them, edit them, hit the save button. And for those guys, they know, okay, I'm working on my desktop, but they're not really working on their desktop. Everything gets synced within the connected system, even if it's a DAM or a cloud storage system. So it's really convenient to have those vertical integrations. And that is, of course, a huge time saver, because I don't want to jump out of my application, store my files locally, going to the DAM, going to an upload process. That can all be done within the application by just clicking one button. So I think that's all we got. And if you have any questions, shoot us an email at sales@cihub.com. Or if you want to start a free trial for our products, it's available as a 30-day free trial. Go to our website, cihub.com, click the Start Your Free Trial button, select your product, and then you can start exploring what's going to happen inside. It's out of the box connected with the DAM. The only thing you need is just your credentials, which you have currently for your DAM or your cloud storage. It's connected out of the box. There's no integration or implementation needed. Just install it and connect to your devices. So is there any questions so far?
We do have some questions. There's a few that relate to Drive, so they might be the best place to start. So I'll direct these towards you, Steph, in the first instance. One of the things you showed in the Drive presentation was search folders. Is there a way that they can be used as like a smart collection or a dynamic collection for gathering assets together?
Yeah, actually, I think that's totally the idea behind search folders, and because they even actually can use all the search language that the DAM supports, like combination of and or conditions. So they could essentially, there are actually some smart collections that can get refreshed to update the content as basically new assets might be ingested in a DAM that matches the search criteria.
Great, thanks, Steph. There was another question about if a file in the DAM is read-only for those user credentials, how is the link from Drive to the DAM maintained, especially when it comes to writing any new metadata to that file?
Well, so it depends if the read-only file is a place file or vice versa. So if we let's say we have an InDesign file that could be in the DAM, and we place a read-only asset on that file, that's no problem at all, because the read-only file can totally be placed in the InDesign document, and then when we save in the InDesign document, it's going to sync with the DAM. No problem, it's going to keep track of the link. Now, obviously, if the InDesign document is read-only, there's nothing we can do because it's read-only, so we can't change anything. So it's not going to be able to save.
So I would say all our products anyhow support all the roles and rights that have been set up in the DAM for the users. So we don't deal with our own roles and rights management. We always reflect what has been set up in the DAM for those users. Yeah.
Super, thank you. And a related question with how does Drive handle video assets, especially where there's video files with multiple audio tracks?
So, I mean, from the Drive's perspective, a file is a file. I mean, whether it's video, audio, image, a file is a file. So it's completely format agnostic, in the sense that whenever the app saves the file, it then starts syncing. Then obviously, when talking video files, the big difference factor is the size of those files, because usually they're big, and they will take a slightly longer time to sync. So this is currently, we are actually not optimizing in any ways in terms of the uploads, but future release certainly will actually come up with the ability to have differential sync, so having the ability to only synchronize deltas within the file, so anything that basically changes, and that's going to be obviously a big improvement for video assets, because sometimes just a small section of the file is actually changed, could be just metadata, so you don't want to synchronize the entire file again, right?
Yeah, that will make a huge amount of difference for managing offline files. That's great.
Right.
Next one is more a statement than a question, but I did want to raise it just to make sure that there isn't any misunderstandings. So it's been described by somebody in the questions. Essentially, it's a Dropbox integrated with the DAM, which is correct, but it's worth pointing out that Dropbox includes storage. CI Hub Drive doesn't include storage because the storage is your DAM. So rather than being connected to the DAM, it is like a new window into your DAM that's just sitting on your desktop. There's another Drive-related question of how do you deal with metadata in Drive when the files aren't necessarily being downloaded?
Well, that's really the great point I was making at the beginning with materialization versus online versus offline file, which really is one of the great concept of CI Hub also. So this ability to then just query, let's say, the content of a folder, all files within a folder. So the answer from the API is all this list of assets plus all their metadata. And these metadata fields, we're able to store them and display them in the Finder and make them searchable as well in Spotlight, as we showed in the video. And so this is all without actually downloading the high-res data of the assets. It's completely through the API, and obviously capitalizing on the DAM's own management of those metadata fields. So the API essentially just interrogates the DAM for those metadata fields, and we get them back, and we make them available on the Finder for people to use and search and make decisions about.
Super, thanks, Steph. And Gerd, I've got one question for you that sort of relates to some of the Adobe MAX announcements, asking if there were any announcements from Adobe about creating their own large language models for the artificial intelligence.
This is a good question. So I would leave that to answer by Adobe guys. So I don't know how far I can go. That's also a bit restrictive what I'm allowed to talk about. But I mean, so far what we have been informed anyhow, which is really a great thing, is that you can have, of course, custom models available in a closed environment, for example. This is something that has been announced, and yeah, this is all I can say.
We shan't dig any more on that question then.
Yeah, I think we can invite someone from Adobe next webinar, and he can answer these questions.
Super, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I think, I mean, that's all the questions that have been posed, and I know we're running up 3 minutes before our deadline, so unless anyone has any burning questions, I think we're probably running towards the end.
Yeah, I think so. So thanks all for joining that session, and I wish you a wonderful day.
That's great. Thank you, Gerd, Stephane, and Phil, for a great session. A reminder to everyone that the link to access the recording of this webinar will be sent to all participants tomorrow. And thank you again for everyone for attending today's session. We look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.